Welcome to Miss Martin Muses. Welcome to Miss Martin Muses, where we muse upon what makes me laugh, makes me cry, makes me happy, makes me sad, or just really ticks me off. Well, today we're talking about something that makes me very happy and sad. It is The Return of the King. It is The Return of the King, the great book by J.R.R. Tolkien. And we love J.R.R. Tolkien here, and this is where you can get the good Tolkien. Forget any of that stuff that rhymes with schmamazon. Whatever, don't waste your time. Go for the real thing. The real thing, and the real thing is right here on Miss Martin Muses. Rather, the book is. Hello, everyone in the chat. Hello, always good to see you. Let's do this. Yes, let's do this. OBG 70. And we have our polar bear. We love our animals here at Miss Martin Muses. How's the morning going so far? Not bad, not bad. Sort of Poopus is saying hello to Rennie. Hello to Rennie. Speaking of Rennie, Rennie is our guest today.
Good morning, Teresa. Hope you are well. Very happy to be here. And yeah, it's so much fun to just talk about the stuff you really love. You know, puts me in a good mood anyways.
Exactly. Life's too short. But I'll tell you what. Oh, crap. It's my mother's birthday.
Oh girl.
Okay. After we're done here, I just got a message, on our group chat. It's like, happy birthday to so-and-so. And I'm like, fuck. Okay, I'll call later.
Yeah, that's a birthday you probably shouldn't forget right there.
Yeah. It just so happens. I'll tell you what. It's like, it's my mom's birthday. Well, happy birthday, Mom, who's not listening right now. Well, hello there. Look, we have an Australian in the house. Good day to you, sexy people. Yes. Very sexy people. Fourth Aer Lingus. Yes.
Yay!
Yes. We've got Timon Flip. Thank you for being here. Yes, this is probably my favorite chapter, the one we're going to be going over of the entire series. I mean,
you can just kind of picture that scene from Return of the King, the movie, and it's just like, oh, this is so great.
I know. Well, I remember when it happened, in the movie as they're getting ready, and you're just in the anticipation, you were just going batshit crazy because you were like, I'm gonna see this. I'm actually gonna see this battle. And they did not disappoint. They okay. The only part that disappointed, if we want to talk the movie, is the stupid what was it? There was some stupid crap with Legolas, like being a surfer dude on the
and they kind of played like, I want to say that was, in the Two Towers, they kind of played the Back to the Future theme as he was like sliding down on the shield at Helm's Deep. Yeah. I was like, you know what you're doing.
It's like, don't be doing that in this movie. Yeah. Galadriel to be here. Yes. Yeah. But beyond that, besides that, it was just about perfect. So I'm going to go ahead and we're going to start with... Son of a biatch, where is it? I can't find the chapter. I had it all open.
Ride of the Rohrin?
Okay, all right. The Ride of the Rohirrim. Now, I'm not going to talk too much about the Ride of the Rohirrim. In this chapter, what they have is a lot of just some of the...
Getting ready for battle, basically, right?
Yeah, they're getting ready for battle, and it does a very good job of showing how hard they were riding.
Yeah,
because the Ride of the Rohirrim, trying to get there as fast as they could, and it was kind of badass how they rode. I mean, it was epic. Actually, they were riding basically for a week to get there. And you knew that once they arrived, they were going to have this big ass battle, but they just kept going, and you saw it through Mary's eyes. So
yes, that's what I love about this chapter, is because, like, you pretty much, if you're reading closely, you know who Dernhelm is, aka Éowyn.
Yeah.
And Mary's thing, and that's what I liked. About this chapter is just like, this is Mary and Éowyn going to battle as well, but the guys don't realize that they're there, but it's really awesome, and I mean, I think some of them do see Mary, but they don't realize Éowyn is Éowyn. And it's just so awesome because this is what she's always wanted, even though she doesn't realize what she's getting into. she still gets to fight for the people that she loves. And I found it very exciting. And this is before like the whole, you know, identity politics movement. This was
Yeah.
written a long time ago. I just love it.
Oh, yeah, I know. Sorry, I was just getting the banner up. Yes, absolutely. And oh, where's Stieg when we need him? Well, we know where Stieg is. He's in the future, in Dreamland. But there was one part that took quite a while, which I almost felt was unnecessary, which was they were having a dialogue with the wild men.
Yes. That's kind of weird.
Yeah, it was like, okay, but all right.
But at least they got more troops, you know, from them. So I mean, that kind of helps.
Yeah.
But yeah, the wild men are kind of weird. And these were the same guys that I believe were torching villages in Rohan at times and joined Saruman's cause for a little bit.
Yeah. But on the other hand, yeah. So there is a little bit of that theme. Let's all be in this together.
That's
Let's
right.
all be friends and everything. Yeah.
Let's let bygones be bygones and fight together.
Yes. Oh no. Snortopupus Kuber says Stieg is dreaming of dwarf women.
Little hairy women.
Oh no.
He's going to hate us. Please don't hate us, Stieg.
Oh no. Oh no. Well, it's a good thing. Good thing he's not here, because he would probably have something very strong to say to you about that.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, maybe he is dreaming of dwarf women. I mean, not that there's anything wrong with that.
To each their own.
Okay. Sort of poop is, yeah. What is it? Gone, bury, gone, or whatever it was. Yeah. Tyrone says nasty. Oh gosh. Yes, it is. It's very nasty. But so they're riding their butts off. They got the Wildman, yay! And then Theoden, because he has to make all sorts of speeches.
And he's a king, gotta be dramatic.
Yeah, he goes, you know? Yeah, now is the hour come, riders of the mark, sons of Orl, fire, or foes in fire are before you, and your homes are far behind. Yet, though you fight upon an alien field, the glory that you reap shall be your own forever. Oaths ye have taken, now fulfill them all to Lord and land and league of friendship. And then it says, men clashed spear upon shield. And he's like, Aemir, my son, you lead the first Irid, and it shall go behind the king's banner in the center. And you're like, oh.
It's like, yay!
Yeah, forth now, and fear no darkness. Oh, boy. And this is before they even get there. They're just doing their big last part of the ride.
I feel like it's a good motivational speech. You know, it's getting the crew pumped.
Yeah, I mean, but it's crazy. I said it before, and I'll say it again, and we'll just say it one more time. Damn it! The fact that they're sitting there and they're riding their asses off, and they know at the end they're going to have a big ass battle. I mean, it would be as though they're doing the whatever D-Day, that battle, but instead of just coming across the channel, which on a boat, they were spending the last week riding and running from Scotland all the way to the port and swam across the ocean and then invaded Normandy. That's it, what they're doing. And they're just so brave, and the fact that they're doing it and they're so motivated.
Good way to say it.
Yeah, for lack of a better word. And then after a while, they're riding. Then suddenly Merry felt it at last, beyond doubt, a change. Wind was in his fate. Light was glimmering far, far away in the south. The clouds could be dimly seen as remote gray shapes rolling up, drifting. Morning lay beyond them. And remember, this was the morning that in the last chapters that they had heard right before they blasted the
the horns, right?
the horn, yeah.
Yeah.
And so this dawn that he's seeing, he's finally realizing that they have arrived and they're getting at that. And then the king sprang suddenly erect. Tall and proud he seemed again, and rising in his stirrups, he cried in a loud voice, more clear than any there had ever heard a mortal man achieve before. Arise, arise, riders of Theoden, full fell deeds awake, fire and slaughter, spear shall be shaken, shield be splintered, a sword day, a red day ere the sun rises. Ride now, ride now, ride to Gondor. And with that, he seized a great horn from Gulaf, his banner bearer, and he blew such a blast upon it that it burst asunder. And straightway, all the horns in the host were lifted up in music, and the blowing of the horns of Rohan in that hour was like a storm upon the plain and a thunder in the mountains. Holy shit! Is that good writing or what?
Yeah, amazing. You can really feel the energy and the enthusiasm, and like this just huge army marching for war, and a lot of them are going to their deaths, and they know it, and they don't care because they're fighting for the greater good.
Yeah. And then as it happened, the sun, what was it they said, that the morning came, for morning came, morning, and a wind from the sea, and the sound of their singing. Oh, and then all the host of Rohan burst into song. Good thing Steek's asleep. He would probably have something to say about that.
His favorite part.
But it wasn't like, I think it was like more of a war kind of a song. It wasn't a recital,
like a chant.
yeah. It wasn't like, oh, here we are in the parlor, let's have a song from the ladies.
Let's dance and dance and sing and drink.
Let's sing, oh, Danny boy. It says, and the host of all, they burst into song, and they sang as they slew, for the battle, for the joy of battle was on them, and the sound of their singing that was fair and terrible came even to the city.
Woo!
Yay! Gosh darn it. So that's kind of seeing from that other point of view. We knew what this sound, these horns blowing, what it meant to those inside of Gondor, what it was when they heard it, when Gandalf and all of them were Gandalfing.
Gandalf.
Yeah. Well, you know what I mean? He was facing the fell beast, and everything was falling apart, and then dawn hit, and they heard the Rohirrim. Yeah, Timon is saying goosebumps, hell to the yes.
Yeah. Such a great feeling. And then yes, the movie did a really good homage to that. And I don't know, I got goosebumps when I was watching Return of the King and they showed up in Pelennor Fields, and I was like, oh my god, I almost forgot that they were on their way.
Exactly.
So good.
Yeah, and I'm going back to the chapter, the Siege of Gondor, because the last sentence there was, they said, far above the shadows of death was coming with the dawn. And as if in answer, there came from far away another note. Horns, horns, horns. Great horns of the north wildly blowing. Rohan had come at last. So that was what they heard from Gondor. And we just saw that, how that whole blowing of the horns came about.
Yeah.
And I'm actually very happy on another note that Stieg isn't here because he would probably have a lot to say.
Girl, there were so many possibly phallic things to say that
I know
a certain person pointed out in the chat. Thank you.
About the blowing. Oh,
Yep.
oh,
And
yeah.
Theoden standing erect and all that stuff.
Oh my god, this is
oh
such
my
a
God.
passage. Oh gosh, and to go, they were talking about what you're supposed to call dwarves, little people, whatever, and Snorter Poopa says, I'll just call them Kazad and let Peter Dinklage suck it. Amen.
Oh dear.
Amen, because slightly, just a teeny bit off topic, I loved it when the guy who plays that leprechaun character in the MMA or something. I'm not familiar too much with wrestling. When I saw him, he went on a news show. He was like, "Who made him the king of the dwarves and our spokesman and all that?" He says, "I would love to be a dwarf or be a dwarf's stuntman." It's like, yeah.
Was it Warwick Davis?
No, not Warwick Davis.
Okay.
Probably I'm going to be sexist. Probably some of the guys know who I'm talking about. He played this leprechaun wrestler character, and
he's
a little
Leprechaun
person.
The movie. I'm sorry.
Oh no, no. Oh gosh, goes to find it. Okay, all right, yes, okay. There's a name for it, but the point is, yeah, that Peter Dinklage can suck it, and I'm disgusted with him.
He's not the voice of all little people. He's just the most famous, and at the moment, and he just feels that gives him the right to speak for them. Well, I don't think they all agree with him, and they have the right to their own opinions.
And not only that, yeah, now that you're a big millionaire, you're gonna go and ruin the jobs of all the other people who. That's what this one dude was saying. He's like, hey, there's probably a role for a little person like once every 2 years, and it's usually a 5-second, cameo, kind of small role. And he's taken work from us by them canceling it. And he was more than happy to play a stereotypical little dwarf in the Narnia movies, wasn't he?
Well, yeah. And then like in Elf, like he got called an elf how many times by Will Ferrell?
Exactly.
Like,
yeah.
Even though it was jokingly and stuff, he played the imp in Game of Thrones. Tyrion is known as the imp. It's not a nice name, and so I just don't understand how he's being double standard. It just doesn't make sense to me.
Well, it's not supposed to make sense. Basically, what it means is he got himself a big head now that he's all big, famous, and rich. He forgot where he came from. All right, continue. Yeah. So yes, I think we're all in agreement. He can suck it. And then Snorter Poopa says, although Theoden does find battle quite arousing. And then he said, Stieg made me say that. I'll tell you, Stieg's got a lot of power in his sleep. And across the ocean, too. But, wait, actually, you're probably closer to him hanging out in your iceberg up there in the North Pole. So that's not very far from Scandinavia.
He's sending out not safe for work vibes in his sleep.
There we go. Yeah. And everyone's saying hello. Yes, Sultan Al-Fahim. I think he is in WWE. Yeah. And again, he played a very famous character, but I just don't follow wrestling. I'm going to have to reread the books. Oh, hell to the yes. Please do. And if there's anything I can do, get out of this is read the books. Don't sit around and waste your time and energy bitching and complaining about what we know is going to be a big disaster on Amazon. Read the books and they can go suck it. I mean, that's it. I'm trying to be a good Catholic girl, but you know what? They can suck it. All right.
Yeah, hey.
They can all suck it. Suck it. And I'm not going to give them the satisfaction of bitching about their show and helping them trend when the thing comes out. They can go suck it. And disclaimer.
I feel the same way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. I'm not going to give them ratings by watching it when I know I'm going to hate it. So I'll enjoy the material that exists, because you can't take my books away from me. I mean, unless my place burns down or something. But, this is an actual, this is in print. You can't take that away. It's done.
And get physical copies. But I always give a disclaimer. Anyone else can do whatever they want, because I don't like it when other people who might be on something that rhymes with YouTube, when they sit around and they sit and say what you can and can't watch. Don't give that. I'm not saying about anyone else. Anyone else can do whatever the hell they want, and I fully will support you. I'm just saying I'm not. And there's no such thing as bad publicity. There's no such thing as bad publicity. And so I'm not going to give them bad publicity. I'm not going to give them good publicity. And I'm not going to give them bad publicity. Also, for the sake of my soul, because you know what? You do it too much, you start to become, oh shit, I was too busy ranting. I didn't hear Rennie. Sorry, Rennie. I was
No,
ranting
you're okay.
and missed you. Oh gosh, and you even put in the private chat. Okay, help. Okay, no, but what I'm just basically saying, I personally am not, because my soul's already been hurt too much by it all. And what is it? It's been like 6 years, 7 years, Genie Mac, since like The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi and all that.
Yeah.
It's like, how many years am I going to just sit around and bitch? Or
Yeah.
how about I'm just going to talk about things that make me happy? And I'll tell you what, I've been reading these Lord of the Rings, reading these Feist books that I've been doing, and doing the double picks. Actually, Timon's going to be with us on Monday. We're going to talk video games. And on Tuesday, you're going to have for the Fantasy Tower, me and Lady Gravemaster and Steve are going to be talking about Indiana Jones.
Oh, nice. What time is that? I'll tune in.
Oh, 7 Central. Yeah, I'll be advertising it later. And oh, well, speaking of which, surprise, I got permission to tell you I will be with you today, Rennie. I'm going to be joining the Brown Week to talk about Rocky IV, the director's cut, which is amazing.
Yay.
Yes, amazing.
I'm excited. I wish you had told me sooner, but I'm like super, super duper excited. I can't wait.
Yeah, well, he said to surprise you, and I was just going to come on. But on the other hand, he said, actually, go ahead and tell her, because you should probably say it on the stream. And I'm like, okay. He thought it would be a fun surprise where I just randomly show up.
I think it'll be a lot of fun. Yeah, I watched it yet because it's been a really busy week, so I'll be doing that after this stream.
Oh, well, there you go. Well, that's good, because I need to get my butt to the gym, because with our snowstorm or whatever, I haven't been able to get out there. But that's another example. Having a little pause before I go into the Battle of Hunterfield. I just started to rant. I forget why. Oh yeah, I blame it on Snorted. Was it Snorted Poopus who said Peter Dinklage can suck it? And he can.
Yeah.
Jack Lumen says, Miss Martin Muses, so when is there going to be a discussion on the Silmarillion? Well, since you asked,
a certain Viking talked her into it.
Yeah, the Viking is like, so let me make the case. So yes, that man is so persuasive. He could persuade the devil to use holy water. Okay. So yes, we are going to be doing the Silmarillion, because what better way to get through a book that maybe some find intimidating and daunting? I've only read it once.
Yeah, same here. It was a tough read, so but if you can get through it, it feels so good.
Yeah, because there's so much lore. I mean, you can take 3 sentences and reread it 10 times and just get so much out of it. So we're going to do it together. We are going to be doing the Silmarillion, but I am planning first to do the Hobbit, but we're not going to do the Hobbit the same way we are doing the Lord of the Rings. We're going to be doing that in 2 streams, just the first half and the second half, because it's a very short
the smallest book. Yeah.
And it's not as deep, but yeah, then we're going to do it. Jack Lewin, all I can say is, Miss Martin, it doesn't count as much if it's a, yeah. Oh, maybe I'm not entirely sure. Oh, about me cursing? Okay. Maybe, well, actually hey, listen, I've gotten rid of a lot of vices in my life, and that's the one that's left. Okay.
Girl, I don't judge. And, it's one of those things. There actually have been studies that people that cuss a lot are, for the most part, pretty intelligent. So I don't want to give that up if that's what it means. But
well, yeah, but you know what I mean. It's like, come on, listen, no one gets hurt by me saying bad words.
No, and if you let it sit inside and you just let it fester, and you're like, everything's puppies and rainbows, then you wind up giving yourself some mental and physical duress from the stress. So let it out, man. It's all
There we
good.
go. Okay, we now have a justification for swearing from Rennie right here. You heard it here first. And sort of Poopus Cooper says, blame the bear, blame the bear.
Oh,
Oh,
but I
oh
will
gosh.
say I really appreciate the point that you were making earlier whenever I dropped out about, I'm not gonna put myself through any more devastation and stress by watching stuff that I know that's gonna suck. So I totally agree with you. I think this stuff has been drawn out way too long. And yeah, I'm just gonna enjoy what I enjoy and you know what, forget all the crap. So I think that was very well said before I dropped out. I really appreciated what you said.
Yeah. I mean, because here's my deal. My personal
Yeah,
opinion, everybody, is what's the end game? What's the end game of endlessly bitching? We know they're SGWs. We know they're going to do this. We know they're going to ruin things. We know they're lie. Now, I will call them out and I will do stuff when they lie, like about Tolkien or what happened in The Lord of the Rings. And
yeah,
absolutely, I will call them out, but because that's actually informing people about Tolkien, but and about if they try to lie. But beyond that, it's like this sucks, this sucks, this sucks, this sucks, this sucks. Well, what's the end game? Is it going to change anything? No,
no,
we've already
all it's gonna
learned
do is piss you off, and then you're having a bad day because you're pissed off about it, you know?
exactly, yeah. And that's my personal opinion. That's my personal opinion. And all I got to say is, since I started reading these Feist books and doing this, I just find myself happier because it's like an exercise in futility. They're not going to change. They're never going to change. And they don't see a reason to change. They don't see a reason
Exactly.
to change.
It's getting them money, so you know what?
Yeah,
My whole view is, "Okay, well, you guys do you. I'm gonna be over here, you stay over there." You know?
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah,
So that's my little take on it. And only because it's just wearying. It's wearying. Oh, Soul Team says. Oh, so we concur. Well, yeah. Well, I mean, I'm kind of like Father Miller. You know how Father Miller will say when he's like, "Don't take the Lord's name in vain." Yeah, that's where I do draw the line. Okay.
yeah, that's fair.
Yeah,
That's totally fair.
because that's just too much. What was it when Nerdrotic was singing "Happy Birthday" to Father Miller on Friday Night Tights, and they go like, "Happy birthday, dear Father. Don't take the Lord's name in vain, Mill," or because
I
that's the
remember he
thing.
used to call him out on that, sometimes. He's like, I'm sorry."
Yeah,
It was
yeah,
cute.
and yeah, people know not to do it when he's on. Oh, I'm not sure what Jack Lumen means there. This memorable quote from Reserve that you never
Oh, yeah, I
go.
posted a meme on a on a server and yeah, from Clerks 2 where she says, "You never go ass to mouth." So, yeah.
Okay, we will be watching it together. Okay. Tyrone say, well, I bought it actually. I bought the stream of it on Amazon. I don't know if it's actually streaming on one of the streaming services or not, but it's definitely worth spending the money on. It,
Yeah.
in my opinion, a far more superior.
I had someone that tried to send it to me for free, but it only, like, went for it only la the runtime was, like, an hour, and I was like, "There's no way this movie's just an hour. There's no way."
Oh no, no, no! I mean, it's about an hour and a half or so. It's not.
Yeah.
It's actually not longer than the original one
Yeah, I
because what
heard
he
it's
did was
shorter.
yeah, because what he did was he took out some of the silly stuff and put in some of the stuff that was on the cutting room floor that he probably shouldn't have cut to begin with. So it's a very superior cut of the
So no,
movie.
excessive robot scenes?
No, not at all. It doesn't even exist.
Happy
Doesn't even
birthday, Polly.
exist. Yeah. And more scenes with Apollo and with
Oh.
his team. So you really feel it when he passes. Mr. Brown says, "Listen to Rennie. She speaks wisdom sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes." Yeah. Okay.
Whatever, Brown. I told him today I was gonna fly to the UK just to kick his ass. So
Oh my goodness gracious. Well, all right. Okay. Well, now that I've had my rant and we've had our rant in the middle, we're ready to go on to this battle of
Pelennor
Pelennor
Fields.
Fields. This is a chapter that is my personal favorite of the entire thing, and I could actually sit here and just read the entire thing, but I'm not, because we're not going to go forever. The stream would go on for about an hour because this is a very long chapter. But in any case, all the bad guys are coming. Everyone's kind of feeling, what does it say? Dark fell about him. Horses reared and screamed. To me, cried Theoden. Up, Erlingus, fear no darkness. And, oh, Theoden, why? And it says they almost like fall to despair with all the Nazgul and stuff, because they actually do. They're kind of like Dementors, or rather, Dementors are like the Nazgul. It was like hurting their spirit, and he's like, Kingsman, his heart cried with him. You must stay by him, as a father you shall be. Oh, sorry, this is not Theoden, rather, in his thoughts. The Mary is crawling. Mary crawled on all fours like a dazed beast. Oh my gosh. And such a horror was on him that he was blind and sick. This is Mary, rather, speaking. Kingsman, his heart cried within him. You must stay by him. As a father you shall be to me, you said. But his will made no answer, and his body shook. He dared not open his eyes or look up. Then, out of the blackness in his mind, he thought that he heard Durnhelm speaking. Yet now the voice seemed strange, recalling some other voice that he had known. What's going on? We all know what's going to be going on here. Oh, and by the way, am I a jerk?
For what?
I skipped them all doing their big charge and stuff, but
no, but this is the
heart of it. Yeah, I mean,
I love it.
The charge was better. Yeah, but so in any case, he hears Durnhelm speaking. Be gone, foul Dwimmer Lake.
Yeah, I'm like, what is that word?
What the hell is that? Lord of Carrion, leave the dead in peace. Oh gosh. And then a cold wind answered, come not between the Nazgul and his prey, or he will not slay thee in thy turn. He will bear thee away to the houses of lamentation, beyond all darkness, before thy flesh shall be devoured, and thy shriveled mind be left naked to the lidless eye. A sword rang out as it was drawn. Do what you will, but I will hinder it if I may. Hinder me. Actually, I should say, hinder me. Thou, I'll do my demon voice. Hinder me, thou fool. No living man may hinder me. Then Mary heard. Oh my gosh, that's hard on my voice. Mary heard of all sounds in that hour.
I love
the strangest. It seemed that Durnhelm laughed, and the clear voice was like the ring of steel. But no living man am I. You look upon a woman. Eowyn I am, Eamon's daughter. You stand between me and my lord and kin. Be gone if you be not deathless. For living or dark undead, I will smite you if you touch him. Then the ringed creature screamed at her, but the ringmaid made no answer and was silent, as if in sudden doubt. You see, I like that. The ringmaid is like, oh shit.
I mean, she wins on a technicality if you think about it.
Yeah. And it's like, maybe my life, maybe there's this loophole here. What am I gonna do about it? It was, oh my gosh.
I just love it. It's
Yeah.
Great moment.
Yeah, and once again, you can just see it. You can just see it happening. And I am seeing your comments, everyone, but I'll get to them in a second because I want to keep going with this because it's just so very sorry. As if in sudden doubt, very amazement for a moment conquered Mary's fear. He opened his eyes, and the blackness was lifted from them. There, some paces from him, sat the great beast, and all seemed dark about it. And above it loomed the Nazgul Lord like the shadow of despair. A little to the left, facing them, stood Sheem, whom he had called Durnhelm. But the helm of her secrecy had fallen from her, and her bright hair, released from its bonds, gleamed with pale gold upon her shoulders. Her eyes gray as the sea were hard and fell, and yet tears were on her cheek. A sword was in her hand, and she raised her shield against the horror of her enemy's eyes. Eowyn it was, and Durnhelm also. It's like, yeah. Pity filled his heart and great wonder, and suddenly the slow kindled courage of his race awoke. He clenched his hand. She should not die, so fair, so desperate. At least she should not die alone, unaided. And first of all, I mean, isn't that badass? And then the way it roused him and
kind of awoken Mary from the darkness, because the Nazgul was putting them all under some like spell, or just kind of clouding their minds or their eyes, or the Witch King, I should say. And so for her to kind of wake him up by saying what she said, and he's like, oh, well, there is hope. Maybe I should just get out of this funk and help her out, because, we might have a chance, and it's a great feeling, to know that she inspired him to snap out of it.
Exactly. And I should point out that that Theoden had already fallen by this point. He actually does not spend a lot of time on the actual charge. I think that's why I kind of skipped over. It's like, oh yeah, that did happen, but when the king falls, I mean, that alone will bring despair, but also, like you said, the spell of the Nazgul, and then the winged beast that the Nazgul was upon, it leaped into the air and then swiftly fell down upon Eowyn, shrieking, striking with beak and claw. That's scary as F.
Yeah.
Like, holy shit. And then still she did not blanch. Maiden of the Rohrin, child of kings, slender but as a steel blade, fair yet terrible. A swift stroke she dealt, skilled and deadly. The outstretched neck she clove asunder, and the hewn head fell like a stone. Badass.
Yeah.
And then backward she sprang as a huge shape crashed to ruin. Vast wings outspread, crumbled on the earth, and with its fall the shadow passed away, and a light fell about her, and her hair shone in the sunrise. Oh my gosh, isn't that awesome?
It is pretty freaking awesome.
I mean, what writing? Oh my gosh. Oh, damn. And like the whole contrast, also light versus darkness and everything.
Yeah, I think that they did that pretty well. Because she's a golden blonde, and shining in the sun, versus like darkness and death and on the other side, and it's pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, and the way that, I mean, this big ass beast falls upon her, and she's not afraid, and she just kind of kneels down and just like goes boom, and it's just amazing. And the imagery. Sorna Pupus says, Dwemer Lake may mean work of the necromancy specter. Middle English Dwemer, illusion phantom. Lake play. Stieg made me say that too. Yeah. Well, thank you there. And of course, Tolkien would know that. He would put that together with his insults. Like, you're
Snor-
a Dwimmerlake, or however you say that.
Snortopupus is more well read than the average polar bear.
Absolutely. Yeah. Take that, you flappy, stinky thing. Yes.
Oh dear.
Yeah. And then check this out. Check this imagery. Out of the wreck rose the Black Rider, tall and threatening, towering above her, with a cry of hatred that stung the very ears like venom.
Ugh.
He let fall his mace. Oh, gosh, she's got a mace. Her shield was shivered in many places, and her arm was broken. She stumbled to her knees. He bent over her like a cloud, and his eyes glittered. He raised his mace to kill. Page turn. What's going to happen? But suddenly, he too stumbled forward with a cry of bitter pain, and his stroke went wide, driving into the ground. Mary's sword had stabbed him from behind, shearing through the black mantle and passing up beneath the hauberk or something, had pierced a sinew behind his mighty knee. Eowyn, Eowyn, cried Mary. Then tottering, struggling up with her last strength, she drove her sword between the crown and mantle as the great shoulders bowed before her. The sword broke, sparkling into many shards. The crown rolled away with a clang. Eowyn fell forward upon her fallen foe, but lo, the mantle and hauberk were empty. Shapeless they now lay on the ground, torn and tumbled. And a cry went up into the shuddering air and faded to a shrill wailing passing with the wind, a voice bodiless and thin that died and was swallowed up and was never heard again in that age of this world.
Woot.
Woohoo! Sit straight to hell, you bastard! Badass though. I mean, that Mary, because Mary said they're crawling along, little hobbit, and the fact that he goes up behind the fracking Witch King is like, damn it, I'm gonna stab him in the knee. Woohoo! I mean, that is courage.
Yeah, because he's like, you know what? Can't let him hurt her, and I thought that was really, really brave of him, and it really shows the camaraderie that they had, because he had a good camaraderie with Eowyn and Éomer. I think Eowyn more, but he really did, and he did with Theoden for a little bit until Theoden's like, yeah, no, I can't bear you as a burden. Bye. And I thought that was really great, and he wanted to fight for the people that he loved and he cared about, just like Éowyn did, and he's like, no, I cannot let her go down without a fight.
Mm-hmm.
And then because of him, she defeated him. So
exactly, yeah, and they did the old one too.
Yeah.
He stabs one and she goes in the other, and then they're friends forever.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, it's so good. It's so good.
Such a feel good moment,
Yeah, and badass. I mean,
you've got this this supposedly very what's a good shield maiden and this little bitty 3-foot dude taking on this really massive force of evil. It's pretty freaking cool.
Yeah. Oh, holy mother. It's so good. Yeah.
I don't know if you saw the Rankin Bass version of him, but it didn't look very scary whenever you put the book to picture. But I did like how Peter Jackson made him look in the battle, because he looked more terrifying to me than he did in the Rankin Bass version.
Yeah.
And yeah, you could feel the fear that everybody felt with him. It's like, oh God, that winged creature is huge. It's going to eat everybody, or that shriek just seems like it would you could feel it in your soul and your core, and awful. And so you can only imagine the fear that they felt when they were fighting this guy.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And I actually did not entirely like the way he filmed the Eowyn fight against him. It was pretty cool, but she looked too afraid, and
Yeah.
I felt like that wasn't quite in her character. I remember at the time, because the way it's described here is like, this is a chick who's basically said, "Feck this! I've got nothing to lose," and
Yeah.
this bastard just killed my father. Which is essentially what Theoden was to her, and she was just ready to go. She wasn't afraid, and
No.
they left out the part where she laughs in his face. They just had her take off and go, "I'm no man." I thought that was lame. I thought it was much better if she'd have taken it off or started to laugh and then take it off and go, "But I'm no living man am I, ha 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 ha," and then killed him. But
Yeah.
I thought it was, I did not like it, and I love Eowyn, and I love for the most part what they did with Eowyn in the movie, but I wasn't pleased with that interpretation.
I mean, I did like how, they went from one line to the next. I guess they were trying to condense it. It's like, well, no living man can kill me. And then she rips off her mask. Well, I am no man. So,
Yeah.
but I do believe that they could have done a little bit better with it. But I don't know if they were just trying to condense it for time or what.
Well, I think they were just trying to make it a little Hollywood one-liner,
Yeah.
and it's like, no, we don't need that kind of a one-liner.
No.
Yeah, and the way they had the Witch King helm crumbling seemed silly to me. Yeah, I mean, up to that
Yeah.
point, I had no problem. I thought they did a really good job of showing how big and massive he was and how scary it
Yeah.
was and all that.
That mace was freaking crazy looking.
Mhm. Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, it's so huge.
Oh gosh,
Oh,
it's so big. Yeah, Sting's not here though. Sting's not
Let me
here,
stop
so
there.
we're okay. Oh. But in any case, after all of that, Mary goes over to Theoden, and he stooped and lifted Theoden's hand to kiss it.
No.
And Theoden opened his eyes. "Farewell, Master Halbutta," or what do they call hobbits in their language? I can't pronounce it. "My body is broken. I go to my fathers, and even in their mighty company I shall not now be ashamed. I felled the black serpent, a grim morn, and a glad day, and a golden sunset." Mary could not speak, but wept anew. "Forgive me, Lord," he said at last, "if I broke your command, and yet have done no more in your service than to weep at my parting." Then Theoden said, the old king smiled, "Grieve not, it is forgiven. Great heart will not be denied. Live now in blessedness, and when you sit in peace with your pipe, think of me. For never now shall I sit with you in Meduseld as I promised, or listen to your herb lore." He closed his eyes. Presently he spoke again. "Where is Aemir? For my eyes darken, and I would see him ere I go. He must be king after me. I would send word to Eowyn. She would not have me leave her, and now I shall not see her again. Dearer than daughter."
Oh, I love that line.
Yeah. I mean, they have it in the movie. They have Eowyn actually sitting there talking with him. But I think it's significant. We talked a little bit before about how both Eowyn and what's his face, Mary, basically broke their command to be there, and the king, and the fact that Mary did apologize to him for it, and then he said that it all is forgiven for good heart, and maybe he would have said the same to Eowyn as well. I don't know. I think there's a little more to be said about that, and there's still some debate. And
yeah, it's pretty interesting because you forget that it's actually Mary that has the conversation with him in the books. When you see it in the movie, though, it is pretty endearing because Eowyn really loved Theoden as a father, and he loved her as a daughter because her dad died when she was really young.
Yeah,
and but I think it's also really cool to see the interaction between Merry and Theoden because, you know, Theoden like brushes him off, like, nobody can bear you as a burden. Go away. We don't want you in this battle. And it's like, oh, well, that's kind of not cool, man. You know? So to have that moment is kind of nice as well.
Yeah. 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 Oh, so gosh. The feels, the feels, the
Yeah.
feels. And then Aemir rides up and he sees Theoden sitting there dying. And check this out. Theoden says to him, "Hail, King of the Mark, ride now to victory." Because, even though he's not dead yet, it's like he's calling him the king.
Yeah.
It's like, because in 3 seconds he's going to become the king. But he goes, "Hail, King of the Mark, ride now to victory. Bid Eowyn farewell." And then he dies.
Yeah.
That's some badass last words.
Yeah. I mean, not too shabby.
Yeah, no. I mean, yeah. Yeah, Snurpoop is sniffles. And hello, Book of Soul Assassin.
Oh.
But if the Hobbit lady wasn't at the battlefield, would have been a totally different outcome. Yeah. And that's the whole thing about sometimes fate is fate. It was meant to be. And I think they all maybe come to terms with it. You see some dialogue later speaking of it. Because I think that maybe once people realize that she fulfilled a prophecy, that also would have made things all forgiven. Because they would have put store by prophecy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I like Éomer's reaction to seeing Eowyn in the battlefield as well. You know, he loves his little sister, and I just think it's really sweet.
Yes, and may Peter Jackson burn
with the whole no.
He cut it from the movie. Oh, but he had to have Legolas go and running like an idiot on an Oliphant. But holy!
Oh yeah, he did that in this
I was
one,
so
too.
mad. I actually
Forgot
did. I
about
burned
that.
him in effigy. At that time he was a rather large guy, so I drew a stick. I drew a stick man. I was so bad. My roommate at the time thought I was going crazy. I was like, I took this big stick man and made it look fat, like a big fat stick man, and I threw it in the fireplace. I said, "That's what I think." I said, "I'm burning him
Sounds
in
almost
effigy
like a
for what
voodoo
he
doll.
did for cutting that scene." That's how mad I was at him for cutting the Aemir stuff and the Eowyn stuff, and then of course the Houses of Healing, which only took 3 seconds. He could have kept it in there.
I know.
Gee whiz, for fuck's. All right, and what Jacob was just talking about. Yeah, I'm just getting there because this is so well written.
Yes.
Wait, who's dead? Oh yeah, we already had that. And I need to turn the page. And they're all sitting there crying. And Aemir says some poetry. He does pause for some poetry. He says, "Mourn not overmuch. Mighty was the fallen. Meet was his ending. When his mound is raised, women then shall weep. War now calls us. Yet he himself wept as he spoke. Let his knights remain here and bear his body in honor from the field, lest the battle ride over it." That's very practical of you. I didn't think about that. It's like, yeah, with all the the body will be trampled.
Oh, by the Oliphants and
Yeah,
stuff.
and turn to mush. Yeah, it's like that. He's a very practical guy.
Yeah.
And he looked at the slain, recalling their names. Then suddenly he beheld his sister Eowyn as she lay, and he knew her. He stood a moment as a man who is pierced in the midst of a cry by an arrow through the heart. Then his face went deathly white, and a cold fury rose up in him so that all speech failed him for a while. A fey mood took him. "Eowyn, Eowyn, Eowyn, how come you here? What madness or devilry is this? Death, death, death! Death, take us all!" And then, without taking counsel or waiting for the approach of the men of the city, he spurred headlong back to the front of the great host and blew a horn and cried aloud for the onset. Come on. I know, what's wrong with us. Why are we laughing? This is
because we
actually
know
very-
exactly what Stieg would be thinking or saying right now.
I know.
We need him here.
But if you forget what Stieg would have said, he goes up and he blows. Well, they should have said he blew his horn, but it says he blew a horn. I mean, that's terrible.
Just a random horn.
Yeah, and cried aloud for the onset. Over the field rang his clear voice calling, "Death! Ride! Right to ruin and the world's ending." And with that, the host began to move, but the Rohirrim sang no more. "Death," they cried with one voice, loud and terrible, and gathering speed like a great tide, their battle swept about their falling king and passed, roaring away southward. Yeah!
Woohoo!
Woohoo! Badass! I'll tell you what, though, that's pretty freaking scary. I mean, imagine you're minding your own business. A bunch of these crazy guys are going, "Death! Death!" I mean, they're just chanting death.
Yeah, it's like, okay, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can only imagine.
Yeah. Peter Jackson.
I mean, for us, it's awesome because they're on the side that we want to win. So we like it.
Or Pooper just says again with the blowing. Blue. Yeah, I mean, come on. The blowing is fun. Wait, that sounds wrong. But you know what I mean?
It
The
sure
horns.
is.
The horns of Gondor. Oh no, the horns of Rohan.
Oh dear.
And gosh darn it. There is some stuff going on then after that where they go and they get the king, because pardon me, I have this image of like, "Get the body out of the way, this madman's running with his horse," and then the king's body just gets crushed.
Yeah, now I'm like picturing like little pieces of Theoden everywhere if they don't pick them up
left and right.
I know that's horrible, but
Yeah.
it's like, oh, grab his hand, it's over there. Where? Behind the rock. Oh, okay, so I found it.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
And then some Gondor dudes show up. Imrahil, the Prince of Dol Amroth, comes over and he's like, "What burden do you bear, men of Rohan?" I would have smacked him in the face. Like, what the hell do you think?
It's like,
burden we're bearing?
did you not see what just happened, bro?
Yeah. That I guess technically they're saying what dead body, because they go, "Theoden king, he is dead, but Aemir king now rides in battle." And then he sees Eowyn there. And he's like, "Dude," he didn't say dude, but he's like, "Have even the women of the Rohirrim come to war in our need? Nay, one only, the lady Eowyn is she, sister of Aemir, and we knew not of her riding." Then the prince, seeing her beauty, though her face was pale and cold, touched her hand. "Men of Rohan," he cried, are there no leeches among you? She is hurt to the death maybe, but I deem that she yet lives." So she's not dead yet.
That's right.
Yeah. And this dude, isn't he like the uncle of my lord and Faramir? I think.
I think so, or like, yeah.
The brother of her sister, his mother, rather. I think it's his uncle. I think it is. Yeah, that would make him. That would make him uncle. I'd need to double check that. There was a time when I knew this, but we're starting to see where a little bit of this Gondor and Rohan working together, and of course he's like, she's fair, and he saves her life, and of course it's going to lead to, we know that Eowyn will eventually marry and become with the Gondor.
She's going to be with your man.
He's gonna be with my man. Did someone clip that? The blowing is fun. Oh gosh, no. Oh, Aemir, Jacob Ironstein says Aemir blew a horn and said, "I am the law."
Oh, dear.
I am the Senate.
Oh my God, that would be funny.
Yeah. Well, and so there's a big ass battle. I'm not going to go into details of the battle. They're fighting. Like, whoa, we're fighting. Yeah, look, we're fighting.
And then Legolas beats all the Oliphants on his own. No, just kidding.
Yeah, well, that even wasn't even in here. I don't know if the Oliphants no, I think the Oliphants showed up, but all that stupid
But they didn't have the, like, the body surfing on them or whatever kind of thing going down. Yeah, that was kind of ridiculous.
yeah, it was comical, and the whole battle thing between Aomer and, or rather, Gimli and Legolas, that was a thing from Helm's Deep,
Yes.
but not in this battle. It was almost like they were like, "Ho ho ho, we're gonna make it like it's a thing."
Yeah.
So in any case, so they're fighting, and Theoden and sorry, rather he's dead. Sorry,
Aemir.
Eomer and all them are sucking, if you will, a little bit, and of course, I guess they just have to go and say some poetry again. At least they're not singing though. Out of
Yes.
the dark, the day is riding. I came singing in the sun, sword unsheathing. To hope's end I rode, into hearts breaking. Nay, now for wrath, now for ruin and a red nightfall. And those staves he spoke, yet he laughed as he said them, for once more the lust of battle was upon him. And even as he laughed at despair, he looked out again on the black shift and lifted up his sword to defy them. So he's getting ready to go out in a blaze of glory. And
Yeah, and he
then,
doesn't realize who's really on those ships.
exactly. And then wonder took him and a great joy. And he cast his sword up in the sunlight and sang as he caught it. Okay, damn it, he sung. Okay.
Oh no.
And all eyes followed his gaze, and behold, upon the foremost ship a great standard broke, and the wind displayed it as she turned towards the Harlond. There flowered a white tree, and that was for Gondor. But 7 stars were about it, and a high crown above it, the signs of Elendil that no lord had borne for years beyond count. And the stars flamed in the sunlight, for they were wrought of gems by Arwen, daughter of Elrond. And the crown was bright in the morning, for it was wrought of mithril and gold. Boom! Because
Sweet.
remember, Arwen made his standard, and that was
Yeah.
actually her biggest badass thing. And Aragorn was like, "Yeah, I know what this is, but now's not the time to do this." And the first time he unfurls it is right at this battle where he's coming to save everybody. And for the first time ever, it's a banner of the King of Gondor.
Yes. And
Yes.
like a beacon of hope, to everyone as well, because they're like, "Oh crap, what are these ships about?" Oh, wait a minute.
Yes. Well, but not just that, but like I said, the king is here, not just the
Yeah,
fucking cavalry. I'm the
that's right.
blankety blank king, bitches.
Because Gondor hadn't had a king for what, like 1,000
Yeah,
years?
yeah. They just had stewards, and what a dramatic way for Eowyn to. Oh, sorry, Arwen. Damn it! Why are the names so similar?
I know.
Arwen. I mean, they really friggin' sucked that they didn't have this, that she made that banner for him, because I thought it was really cool. And the fact that she made it with the golden mithril so that it sparkled and shone, so it kind of had the whole elvish thing going on.
Yeah.
Thus came Aragorn, son of Arathorn, Elisar, Isildur's heir, out of the paths of the dead, born upon a wind from the sea to the kingdom of Gondor. And the mirth of the Rohirrim was a torrent of laughter and a flashing of swords. And the joy and wonder of the city was a music of trumpets and a ringing of bells. But the hosts of Mordor were seized with bewilderment and a great wizardry. It seemed to them that their own ships should be filled with their foes. And a black dread fell on them, knowing that the tides of fate had turned against them, and their doom was at hand. and then it's like east rode the knights of Dol Amroth, the Gondorian guy. And then from the west came south strode Aemir and men, and trollmen and varys and orcs. They were driving the enemy for them, trollmen, varys, and orcs. So they're all coming together and just kicking ass.
And they're basically surrounding the enemy forces by coming from every direction, which is awesome.
Precisely, and all three of them, Rohan, Gondor, and the other Gondor.
Yeah.
And there came Legolas and Gimli wielding his axe, and Halabrad with the standard, and Eladine and Elohir with stars on their brow, and the dour-handed Dunedain, rangers of the north, leading with great valor of the folk of Labradin and Lemedon and all these other people from the south. But before all went Aragorn with the flame of the west, Anduril like a new fire kindled, Narsil reforged as deadly as of old, and upon his brow was the star of Elendil. Ah, love it.
Yeah. So awesome.
And it says, you came none too soon, my friend, Aemir is saying to Aragorn. Much loss and sorrow has befallen us. Then let us avenge it, ere we speak of it, said Aragorn, and they rode to battle together.
So awesome. 2 kings.
Yes. We 2 kings of Orient are. So, yeah, it was great. And yes, as Snortopupus says, no scrubbing bubbles. Yes.
I know. Yeah,
Oh,
that was pretty bad.
Yeah. Which kings knocked your gates down? Orcs trampling your grass? Call Arwen and Eowyn, attorneys at law.
Oh, bad
yeah,
bear.
scrubbing Bumble's crud, says Keck44. I always forget that. Yeah, it was too bad. Bush McFadden, I am no man. Whoa, what? Oh, well, thank you. Please hit the like button for the epic reading by Teresa. Jacob, Baby Yoda has a shirt made of it. Oh yeah, they don't have an original idea in their heads, do they?
Oh dear.
I think I got everyone. Yeah, the at Oliphants. Yeah, that was pretty silly. Yeah, they did that. Yeah. So
I mean, they were huge, but still, yeah.
Yeah, well, and the way it was shot and all of that.
Yeah, agreed.
It was absurd. And so after their fight, Aragorn and Eomer and Imrahil rode back toward the gate of the city, and they were now weary beyond joy or sorrow. These 3 were unscathed, for such was their fortune and the skill and might of their arms, and few indeed had dared to abide them or look in their faces in the hour of their wrath. Yeah, so they were terrible, like in the terrible as in awe-inspiring and all that. I would not have wanted to F with them.
No, you definitely don't. It's just like, ugh.
Yeah, and just, I think this is where we just really see them all just unleash and become like these super powered badasses. But the death toll was huge. And said no few had fallen, for it was a great battle, and the full count of it no tale has told. So long afterward, a maker in Rohan said in his song, and so this chapter ends with a song that's written later, though. I have to be fair, it was written later, so it wasn't like they all stopped and said, now let us sing, children. Let's
sing while we go into battle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the battle was won. So there we go. Again, this is my favorite chapter of all of them. It's even better than the houses. The steward and the king.
Yeah.
Which I love for reasons. But that's just for reasons. I love that one. But this chapter is just so badass on every possible level. I meant to say baby yogurt. Snortopupus for birth. No singing. Damn right, no singing.
What was it? Monty Python and the Holy Grail, where that where that son kept trying to sing. He's like, no, no singing, no singing. And then he still breaks into song, but it's so funny.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, something like that. Let me see. Yeah, we're going to go ahead and we're going to stop. Well, do we want to stop here? Cuz I know I said we were doing those 2 chapters. Let me look. The next one it might be worth going into the pyre of Denethor. Yeah, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and go through the pyre of Denethor because it's not going to take too long. And believe it or not, we haven't yet killed that old bastard.
I know. I forget that he's still alive. And it's like, wait, what's going on? Thought he died already. Didn't he take that long run off of the castle edge?
Yeah, in the movie he did,
Yeah,
obviously, but yeah,
kidding.
I mean, meanwhile, while all this is going around, Pippin's going, he's crazy. Don't bring the gasoline and the matches or whatever. And I just always wondered about that. Like the servants are like, oh, master wants us to bring gas and matches to this pyre where his son is. Okay.
Yeah.
And I would think that would be something that would be you could defy your king or your ruler on that one because like I think the guy's gonna do something he shouldn't.
Yeah, he's gonna burn him alive because he's crazy.
All right, did I spell it right? I did. All right, so we're gonna do this because I think that you really can't finish up this.
Well, and it's a short chapter.
Yeah,
it's fairly short. Yeah, it's like a few pages.
Yeah. So meanwhile, while all of this is going on, Gandalf, cried Pippin, and Shadowfax halted. What are you doing here? Is it not a law of the city that those who wear the black and silver must stay, unless their lord gives them leave? He has, said Pippin. He sent me away, but I am frightened. The Lord is out of his mind, I think. It's like, what do you mean you think? and the black Gandalf looks at, I gotta go, man. The Black Rider is abroad. This is one of those, meanwhile, and may bring ruin on us. And Pippin goes, but Faramir, he is not dead. He's not dead yet. And they will burn him alive if someone does not stop them. Burn him alive, said Gandalf. Like, what the fuck? What is this tale? Be quick. It's like Denethor has gone to the tombs and he has taken Faramir and says we are all to burn and he will not wait and they are to make a pyre and burn him on it and Faramir as well. And he has sent men to fetch wood and oil. And that's the thing. It's like, fetch wood and oil. And I'd be like, sure, king. Bye.
I'm gonna take my time with this. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna save that comment, Potato Raven, and come back to it later because that's a good question. Oh yeah, here we go. Denethor's famous torch race. Yeah.
That's a good one. I like that.
Yeah, Denethor's death in the book is more dramatic. Yes, it is. The Lord's a loony. Yeah, that's pretty much what's going on. And so they go running after him. They're like, "Come on, man, go fight!" Some of the guards, or no, Prince Imradil saying, "Whither now, Mithrandir? Come on, man, the Rohrin are here." He says, "You will need every man and more," said Gandalf. "I will come when I can, but I have an errand to the Lord Denethor that will not wait." It's kind of like, yeah, I've got an errand. It's like, yeah, he's gone batshit crazy. It's an errand. So anyway, so they're going running, and they're running some more. And for some reason, I underlined these moments. Oh, because as they're doing it, there's all sorts of people like in despair, and it says there was a light of flame in his eyes, but Gandalf sprang up the steps and the men fell back from him and covered their eyes, for his coming was like the incoming of a white light into a dark place. So yeah, he's going all supernatural on everyone. And then he finally goes up to Denethor. He goes, "What is this, my lord?" said the wizard. "The houses of the dead are no places for the living. Since when has the Lord of Gondor been answerable to thee?" said Denethor. "And may I not command my own servants?" It's just like, yeah, but not if they're batshit crazy.
Yeah,
He goes,
exactly.
well, actually, he says, "Yes, may, but others may contest your will when it is turned to madness and evil. Where is your
Yeah.
son, Faramir? He lies within, burning, already burning. They have set a fire in his flesh. Ash and smoke blowed away on the end." It's like, okay, he done batshit crazy.
Yeah, it's like,
Um,
what?
yeah. And then so they go running in, and wood was piled upon this pyre and all about it, and all was drenched with oil, even the garments of Faramir and the coverlets. But as of yet, no fire had been set to the fuel. Well, yeah, no one's burned dude alive. Then Gandalf revealed the strength that lay hidden in him, even as the light of his power was hidden under his gray mantle. He leaped up onto the bundle of sticks. If I say that word,
Yeah.
people will clip it and say I'm saying
Oh,
horrible
yeah.
things.
Wise
Bundle of sticks,
choice.
and raising the sick man lightly, he sprang down again and bore him to the door. And as he did so, Faramir moaned and called on his father in his dream. And then Denethor, as though waking from a trance, wept, and he said, "Do not take my son from me. He calls for me." "He calls," said Gandalf, "but you can't come to him yet." It's like, yeah, you're still a little batshit crazy.
Yeah.
And then Denethor goes, "He will not wake again. Battle is in vain. Why should we wish to live longer?" And Gandalf says to him, "Authority is not given to you, steward of Gondor, to order the hour of your death. And only the heathen kings under the domination of dark powers did thus, slaying themselves in pride and despair, murdering their kin to ease their own death." Ooh, he's basically saying, "This is your pride. That
Yeah.
this,
Freaking coward.
yeah."
Yeah.
And sometimes people will say, "Well, the Pelennor, or not the Pelennor, the Palantir made him do it and all that." But there was something in there. There's something in him, something prideful and all that, that it was able to manipulate. And then, "Come," Gandalf said, "we are needed. There is much that you can yet do." Then suddenly Denethor laughed. And at this point, we didn't know what he was doing with the Palantir. He stood up tall and proud again, and stepping swiftly back to the table, he lifted from it the pillow on which his head had lain. Then, coming to the doorway, he drew aside the covering, and lo! He had between his hands a Palantir. His eyes glittered. "Pride and despair," he cried. "Didst thou think that the eyes of the White Tower were blind? Nay, I have seen more than thou knowest, grey fool."
Mm.
So we know, aha. So, and he thought that he was doing this, but obviously he's batshit crazy.
Yeah.
And then, "Such counsels will make the enemy's victory certain." "Indeed," said Gandalf. "Hope on then. Do I not know then, Mithrandir? Thy hope is to rule in my stead, to stand behind every throne." Yeah, so you see how it's almost been corrupting him, almost like the ring.
Yeah. Because Sauron is controlling both pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
So he gets into the hobbits and men's minds through the ring, and then he gets, into Sauron and Denethor's minds through the Palantirs. But it's weird because I want to say the movie made it seem like it was the same Palantir, and it's like, no, Denethor had his own.
Yeah. Yeah. So he's, yeah, what you said. And he's also jealous because he says to Denethor, "Well, you've already stolen half my son's love. Now thou stealest the hearts of my knights also. Come hither," he cried to his servants. "Come, if you are not all recreant." Then two of them ran up the steps to him. Swiftly he snatched a torch from the hand of one and sprang back into the house. Before Gandalf could hinder him, he thrust the brand amidst the fuel, and all at once it crackled and roared into flame. Then Denethor leaped upon the table, standing there wreathed in fire and smoke. He took up the staff of his stewardship that lay at his feet and broke it on his knee. Casting its pieces into the blaze, he bowed and laid himself on the table, clasping the Palantir with both hands upon his breast. And it was said that ever after, if any man looked in that stone, unless he had great strength of will to turn it to other purpose, he saw only 2 aged hands withering in flame. And Gandalf, in grief and horror, turned his face away and closed the door. For a while he stood in thought, silent upon the threshold, and then Denethor gave a great cry, and afterwards spoke no more, nor was ever seen by mortal men. So, yeah, dude broke his staff and laid down and burned alive with the Palantir.
Yeah, it's so weird.
Instead of the Olympic torch run he did. And then he does say that line of so passes Denethor, son of whatever. But in the movie, when he said it, it was funny because he was literally passing. He was running like the Human Torch.
Passing him by.
Yeah. Oh, boy. So there he goes. We got rid of Denethor.
Bye, Felicia.
Yeah. But he basically, I would have kind of liked to have seen something a little more like that, and just the dramatic reveal. And he's like, you think I've been blind all this time? Yeah. He's just being mad. And he's like, dude, do you know how crazy you sound?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that would have been better as well, but yeah. The swan dive off of the what's it called? Off of the castle, so to speak. It just didn't make a lot of sense.
Yeah. And then of course Gandalf was saying, yeah, this is how Sauron got a foothold into Minas Tirith.
Yeah.
Dumbass. But it's addiction. That's why they always say you don't want to mess around with that stuff. And that's why Gandalf lost his shit when Pippin looked into it.
Because he knew what he was getting himself into. It's like, no, don't do that.
Yeah. Well, and also that he would give away secrets.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dumbass. Okay, so we finally got rid of Denethor the nutcase. Whoever looked in Denethor's palace here after his death can see him burn. Oh, yes. But, well, this is profound. Book of Soul Assassin says, we have our own Palantir. Phones and YouTube.
Oh, yeah. There you go.
Yikes. And Gandalf says it's one of the missing, you don't know who's watching. Yes, you don't know who.
Yeah, I think he says that to Saruman, I think.
Yeah. Okay, and Potato Raven says, in the movies they don't say for whom they are. Yeah, okay. Let's see, I'm trying to look here. Do you remember that report about OPEC cutting off our oil supply? We covered it in the last staff meeting. Oh, okay.
Oh my God.
And here, the Book of Soul Assassin. So ends Denethor, a loony in death as he was in life.
Nice.
Oh gosh. Let's see. I don't know if the Russians are back. I think my mods took care of it. Let's see. Laugh out loud. Maybe Sauron had OnlyFans again. That's why Pippin screams. Oh no, thank you.
Right.
Well, I'm glad we're done with him. I mean, just set him on fire, the bastard.
Yeah, I know. Be done with him. Denethor is like, there's a good reason for him to be in the book, but at the same time, he's just such an annoying character. You just want him to go, Yeah. So I get it. It's like, finally he's gone.
Yeah, I tried to freaking burn people alive.
Yeah. And I guess I didn't like him from the start. I mean, like I said, I think there's a good reason for him being there, but the whole way he treated Faramir, just did not like him because of that.
Yeah, it was a total dick, and it really does work out well that not only does Faramir become the steward, but Faramir was
Wasn't he
maybe a
like
little
Prince
more.
of Athelion or something like that?
Yeah, he was given that by Aragorn, but also just having his dad dead, it's almost like a relief.
Yeah, he was just so awful to him, and he felt like he couldn't breathe when he was around. And they did they did a good job like making you understand that when they did the extended versions of the movies, and you saw that scene with with Faramir and Boromir interacting, and then it's like, here comes Denethor. It's like, man, can he give us a moment's peace?
Yeah.
Seriously. So you could just feel that he was always breathing down their necks, and it was just so uncomfortable. And it's like, just go away, you know?
Yeah, especially if you're gonna be a dick, go away.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay, now I did put this question aside. Potato Revan, he did ask, did Gandalf end up powerless after his staff broke? I'm
No.
no. But yeah, good point. So was his staff really that important? Because as we saw, he. But wait, did his staff break though, or is that was in the movie?
I think that was in the movie. I don't remember it
Yeah,
happening
his
in the
staff
book.
didn't break in the book. No, because that pissed me off in the movie because he broke the staff and he's like in the movie, but in the book, what happens when the Nazgul comes up? He's stopped by Gandalf. Uh, and Gandalf sitting there with doing his whole "You shall not pass" thing, and then the Nazgul was called away because the Rohirrim had arrived.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But I think like yes, it does hold some power, but I find it more to be like a, I don't know, like what what's a good way to say it? Like a
conduit. Yeah, because
yeah.
because Gandalf, his powers don't really come from magical things. It's not like
Yeah.
Harry Potter.
He's like a demigod. He doesn't have to have a staff to have power. It just helps to, it helps to, what's the word I'm looking for? Golly, I've got no brain this morning, but
Yeah, I should probably look that up because I'm sure.
it's kind of like a power, like kind of like an antenna for the power, kind of
Yeah,
sort of. But yeah, that's like a place where you can just concentrate it all and reflect it or deflect it. And I just, I think people see, whenever you watch the movies, you think that the wizards need their staff for powers. They really don't.
no. Um, let me see. I'm looking here. What did someone asked? Is Gandalf's staff magical? Tolkien didn't write anything specific about Gandalf's power or lack thereof. Yeah, so there we go. And I'm looking here, yeah, that Tolkien didn't really say anything about it, did he? Hmm. Yeah,
I
because
really don't think
often
so.
in his letters he will talk about the magic that Gandalf has and the very nature of what he is. But as far as his letters, yeah, I do not believe. Yeah, that it was not written in the actual letters. He never explained it. We just see that they do have staffs. Oh, the more you know.
I think they got the staffs because I want to say because it was a trope for wizards, not because they depended on it. It's just more of a lightning rod for their power. That's the word I was looking for was lightning rod.
Lightning rod. That's a good one. Yeah. Well, and even them calling themselves wizards, a lot of that was just because that was something that the people could understand because they were these, as you said, demigods or even angelic beings,
Yeah.
and even angels as they appear like in the Bible when you hear them described, like they will often appear in the form of a man because people could not comprehend. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, the form. So I think that there's something very similar to that because like they weren't wizards, like they accepted the title wizard, but they weren't wizards. Jacob
Exactly.
Ironside says Gandalf, while he's a minute, doesn't have his full power. Yeah, and I think there's something about that too. But he is changed after he comes back from the dead, and Tolkien does talk about that a lot in those letters. I'm going to be continuing with my series on Tolkien's letters, so hopefully I'll be able to get more into that. Because I do want to start going back into that, doing videos, but this is now making me very fascinated. I want to
Right?
revisit this. I want to revisit this, and their very nature, and the nature of the elves and all the other magical beings. Because to a certain degree, I think that the whole point is they're not. It's not really magic. It just seems like magic to the eyes of the people that are in Middle Earth. Book of Soul Assassin. I'm not a demigod, but I did save money by moving over to Geico.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious.
Have you ever seen a biblically accurate angel laugh? Says Potato Rat. And I thought we had a painting of a load of them in church, but and they are terrifying. Oh yeah. I have. There's a great tradition of art in Christianity, and every time an angel will show up, they're not always in human form, and you are correct. The angel always has to say, "Don't be afraid." So obviously they must be pretty creepy. When I say creepy, meaning they're awe-inspiring, they're terrifying.
Yeah.
Gandalf wasn't there to fight evil himself; he was there to inspire men to fight. Yeah, because
Yeah.
it's like it wasn't his job.
Yeah, he wasn't there to defeat the evil. He was just there to guide them to defeat the evil.
Yes. The Quenya word for wizard was Ishtar, which more or less means wise one, wizard.
Yeah. Oh, look, it's Steek's best friend.
I was going to say, here
Aw.
we go. Matt Wilkins, two of my favorite ladies
Oh,
talking
thanks, Matt.
Tolkien. Bonus joy, no Steve. Well, you do know, Matt, I have to tell on you. I will tell on you. Yes, Stieg once well, he's in dreamland right now. He's getting his beauty sleep, so welcome, Matt. It's always good to see you, and I'm sure he'll find something to come back with you later. Oh gosh.
No.
Potato Revan says, I would have loved to see what happened in Valinor when Frodo saw Gandalf turn back into his true form. Oh yeah.
Now that's a cool idea. That's a cool thing to think about.
Yeah. Now see, did he actually go to Valinor? Because he didn't quite go to the full thing, right? He just was on like a little island near there, unless that was what Valinor was, and I've forgotten that's what it was called.
I don't remember like once he gets there. I remember it saying like basically the description that Gandalf gave in the movie, like the silver curtain pulled back and he saw like this, that, and the other. So I don't remember it saying like all the details in that part, but I know it talks about it in the appendices. It's just been a little bit since I've read those.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, it was actually it wasn't he didn't quite make it completely to Valinor. He was like Valinor adjacent, I think. Only immortal beings were generally allowed to reside there. Oh wait, maybe it was. Maybe it was actually on Valinor. Why am I thinking there was like a little island nearby there where it wasn't like completely in there, or like maybe there was something on the inside? You see, this is when we get back into when we get through the actual Silmarillion, I think that we'll be able to go into more detail about that. Yeah, Valinor lies in Aman, a continent of the west of Balagar, ocean to the west of Middle Earth.
But it's hidden, so you can't just like look across the sea and be like, "Oh, there it is." You know,
no.
the supreme beings, so Iluvatar and all of them, hide it from like people's eyes because once the kinslaying happened, you're not supposed to really know that it's there.
Mm-hmm.
So it's pretty interesting.
Yeah, what does it say here? It says, after the destruction of Numenor, the Undying Lands were removed from Arda so that men could not reach them. The elves could go there only by the straight road and in ships capable of passing out of the spears of the earth. So basically, you had to have like a magical ship to do it. Yeah, and oh yes, I don't know if I said this. Yeah, the Quenya word for wizard is Ishtar, which more or less means wise one, and Wither. Yes, wither is what it is. Wizard. My gosh, I can't talk. Jacob Ironside said he didn't have his full power when he came back. He had a little more power. Yes. Must be nice to be able to nap whenever you want, says Sandra. Oh, well, hello, Sandra. Yes.
Hey, Sandra.
Catnaps are good. Oh, and thank you, Gunter. Thank you for coming in and saying hello. I do appreciate it. Thank you, Snurpoopus. Is going to be going to have a nap and mod at 5 and then waddle over to his channel. Yeah.
Waddle over.
Yeah. Well, polar bears, they have a good life. I saw some of your people the other day. I was getting my nails done and they were showing one of those nature channels and there was a polar bear and a cute little polar bear cubs like getting warm underneath his mommy. It was sweet.
Yeah, it's cute, but I don't want to come face to face with one.
Oh yeah. You don't want to mess with polar bears.
No.
Sort of Poopus Cooper says it's one of my secret bear powers. Yes, being able to nap. Yeah, there's this island, the northernmost part of Norway. It's an island off the tip of northern part of Norway where like only a few people live. Like there's only like 200 people, and you have to carry a gun with you. If in case a polar bear shows up. Hopefully a polar bear doesn't, but yeah, they'll try to kill you. It's kill or be killed. There's, I won't even try to pronounce it because I feel the judgment from across the sea. I really cannot pronounce Norwegian at all. But if you want to find a video about it, it's pretty fascinating. Yeah. Potato Revan said, "Oh my OMG, I just had a dark theory. Since elves go to Valinor and get reincarnated, if they need to send word back to the Valinor ASAP, an elf could memorize the info and unalive themselves." I'm not sure. They don't actually get reincarnated, do they? I don't.
No, I just want to say they live out the rest of their days in Valinor.
Yeah, they're they're
not
immortal.
They're not supreme beings. I mean, I know you had like Luthien, whose mom was like, I think half Meyer or something like that. And then I want to say Elrond, I think his mother was part Meyer or something like that as well. But that's not all elves. So
yeah. Cake 44, you have to show your elf passport. Snorta Poopus Goober says we are very adorable and cuddly for alpha predators.
Oh dear.
Yeah. Book of Soul Assassin. Some parts of the north are open carry because you don't see the polar bears in the snow. Yeah.
Oh no, that's awful.
Well, yeah, no, I mean, but for reals, and of course, it's so cold there, like you'll like die.
Yeah.
But the reason why people are even there, what the heck is the name of that place? Is because they do research, and they also have like this cave which has a bud or a seed from everything that grows in the earth, like all over the earth. So I guess if we have like some sort of apocalypse or something, that's where you can go find them. Jacob Ironstein says there is so much lore in the Lord of the Rings, it's almost overwhelming. Yes. Potato Revan says when an elf dies, their spirits travel to the halls where they rest for a time as disembodied shades. Most of them are then returned to corporeal form and rejoin all the other elves living in Valinor. Okay. The more you know. Oh, a lot of talk about polar bears and dolphins. I mean, polar bears and dolphins have a non-aggression pact.
Oh dear.
A king dolphin. Dead elves go to the paths of the halls of the dead. Okay, yeah. I like I said, we love our animals. We love our animals here on Miss Smart Muses. We love our mammals, our dolphins, our cats, our polar bears. We're very open-minded people. Gosh, I'm sorry. I just read what Jacob Ironside said. A polar bear after he eats you pops open a Coca-Cola.
Only during the holidays.
Yeah. Oh gosh. Snarpoopus Cooper says King Dolphin TV is saying and a common love of tasty fishes. Yes. Gosh, what is the name of that island? What is the island north in Norway. Let's see. Oh, Norway. Um, but yeah, for real, it has every single like seed and seedling and
Hmm.
oh,
Oh, Book of Soul Assassin. I think he put it in the chat.
oh, okay. Let me see.
Svalbard or
Oh yes,
Svalbard?
that's it. That's it. Arctic Global Seed Vault. Yes, it's called Svalbard. Yeah, of course. Now everyone knows it, but me. But I can tell you something for absolute certainty. I don't pronounce it right. I have been corrected, but
Yeah,
I
I would
don't.
probably not be pronouncing it right now.
Yeah. So, well, I mean, it's. I think it's Svalbard, and it sounds to me like Svalbard, but I do appreciate that the Scandinavian languages, the phonemes that I think we develop as Americans just don't go hand in hand with that.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay, Potato Ribbon says in Ireland we have an island at the top of the country that is not safe for habitation. In 1830s, a ship landed there. It was so cold inside of the ship was freezing. They had to burn it to stay alive. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I believe that. Hey, I've been on some of those little islands in Ireland, and yeah, it's friggin' cold. Now I've never been that far north, but yeah, there's a bunch of islands out there that would probably kill you. Actually, most islands will kill you just trying to get to them.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Well, they're treacherous. That water is treacherous up there. Oh gosh, sort of poopus.
Mhm.
I have relatives on Svalbard.
Oh my god.
Yeah, those are the ones that people have to carry guns for. That's oh
Sorry,
god.
Snort.
Yeah, but it is definitely worth looking up some videos on YouTube and stuff about it because I mean, you talk about uninhabitable. I mean, holy crap. But it's just fascinating. And I mean, I would love to maybe go live there cuz you want to talk about where people don't, you know, bother you.
I
I
mean,
just
so
can't.
my first question would be like, is there electricity? And is there anything to eat other than polar bears
Oh
and
yeah.
fish?
I
Okay.
mean, well, yeah, polar bears and fish. It's definitely worth walking. Work rather, looking at. Yeah, they have electricity, and you can. They have ships like coming in and out.
Hmm.
I looked it up that it is possible when you don't have stupid COVID stuff that you can take a tour I guess sometime in the summer or something where you go and you're there on a boat and you stay there for like 3 hours and then you leave. From what I understand.
Hmm.
Oh gosh, Jacob Ironside says, Snurda Poop Scoober, your relatives on Svalbard have a bad temper. Potato, where you can eat polar bears, but you have to take them to dinner for. Yeah,
Oh dear.
yeah. No, there was a some chick who vlogs from up there.
Hmm.
So she tells you all about it. And yes, you feel cold just watching it. Cake 44. Senator Poop's relatives call residents of the island a nickname snacks. Oh no, book a soul assassin, a 3-hour tour. Yeah. Yeah, this is a 3-hour tour where if you stay outside too long, you'll freeze to death.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah, I understand it's damn cold in Norway, but it takes it to a whole other level when you go to the northernmost northern part. It's like this isn't cold enough. I'm going further north. Um, Nods in agreement. Tasty, yeah. So the more you know, the more you know. How do we even get to Svalbard? I
Um,
think because we're talking about polar bears and shooting
okay.
them or something. Yeah, it's Snortopoopas,
We
but
blame Snort. No, just kidding.
snort. Gosh, there's some interesting things here. It says why dying is illegal in some town in Norway or something. I
What?
didn't know it was
I mean,
illegal. I
well,
mean, you can't stop
sometimes
it.
you can't help yourself from dying. I mean,
Sometimes you just die. I mean,
I mean, what are they gonna do? Arrest you post like
I'll tell you what. I'll bet you $1,000 that's a clickbait title if I've ever seen one.
yeah.
Yeah. Jacob Ironside says the only one that didn't get eaten was Gilligan because polar bears thought he was too skinny.
Oh
Book of
no.
Soul says I live in Texas. I'm used to 100 degrees, not under 60. Oh yeah. Well, then if you live in Texas and you know what we've been experiencing, I'll tell you,
Yeah.
I've stayed indoors. So I did go out yesterday to get my nails done because it was actually like 45 degrees or something. Like all our ice is gone. Everything's back to normal. So
Yeah, ours is like dwindling, and so everything finally opened back up today. It was closed yesterday, and the day before there was really nothing open until like last night.
mm-hmm.
Um, so I'm like, well, what's the point in leaving anyways? So, everybody at my job worked from home. And so I haven't really left the house other than to open my door this morning to grab breakfast that I had delivered. But yeah.
Yeah, yay. Yeah, well, yay for DoorDash. Yeah.
Yeah, right?
I know. I don't know if it means I'm a terrible person that when I saw that DoorDash was still open on Thursday, they were still delivering some restaurants where I actually took advantage.
I would
Uh,
have if they did, because I went on and they were like, yeah, well, nobody's working today in this area, or it's going to be 2 hours. And it's like, nah, thanks though.
yeah. Well, I'm nice. I always tip. Oh, Potato Revan. I'm
Yeah.
from Ireland. I'm going to Texas in June. I'm tired. I will die. Oh, scared I will die. Well, I spent a good deal of my childhood in Ireland. It's just a matter of not being out during the midday. I like to in when the weather starts to get warm. I do the whole thing where I get out in the morning, I do the siesta, and then I get out in the evening. Now, if you're here for tourism and stuff or on a vacation or in a short amount of time, I know that maybe you might not have that luxury. But if you just dress sensibly, make sure that you have lots of sunscreen, lots of water, you should be fine. But
Yeah.
yeah,
And just go indoors a lot.
yeah,
AC is the bomb here, man.
yeah, we got air conditioning.
Yeah.
Yeah, and at the tourist place, they often have like little fans you can buy, and and they have like little stand things where they'll squirt like there's water mist. In the shopping malls, like we have outdoor shopping malls, and you just go and get yourself misted and cooled down. Oh gosh, Jacob, Jake. Okay, Potato Revan, he's lying. There are not rattlesnakes that meet you at the airport in Texas.
Yeah, no. And we don't have, yeah, it just depends on the part of the state, but rattlesnakes aren't prevalent everywhere in Texas, just in the desert areas like El Paso and stuff like that.
Well, that's not completely true.
Oh, okay.
Well, I was gonna say there we got rattlesnakes out.
Uh-oh.
Whenever you see grass, at least where maybe Europe and North Texas, but
Yeah.
yeah, you see some tall grass. Don't go running through it barefoot. That's just all there is to it. Oh my
Yeah.
goodness, you're gonna go see the Alamo. Well, speaking of the Alamo, there you go. They do around that area there on the Riverwalk. Yeah, they'll have like little mist things, like literally spraying water. Do they have those up in your area? Like,
Oh, yeah,
yeah,
off and on, like whenever it's really hot.
yeah,
But the metropolitan area I'm in is like big on like, you know, uh this 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 business has this going on, this business has this going on. They'll sometimes do outdoor activities, but it's mainly focused on indoor. But whenever they do, we do the Pride Parade in September here. So they do misting fans on that a lot, or whenever they have Oktoberfest or the state fair, they do have a lot of misting fans as well. But yeah,
yeah.
I
So there
mainly
you
stay
go.
indoors.
Yeah, yeah. Mostly standard, but yeah, if you go to and trust me, at the Alamo they do, and they have those little fans you can buy, and just drink lots of water. Oh crap. Book of Soul Assassin says, I live in San Antonio and tourists are taken care of here. You'll be fine. Oh, yeah, yeah. And you don't even have to worry about riots or anything like that because we shoot them. So they do, so you'll never see any of that unrest in Texas, and certainly not around the Alamo. Um, Potato Reverend says, "I'm Irish. We got rid of the snakes. They'd be scared of us." Well, that's a lie, Potato Reverend. St. Patrick got rid of the snakes. Everyone knows it was St. Patrick.
Oh,
How
no.
dare you? How dare you?
Oh my
No.
goodness. Well,
Yeah.
the only person that snakes are afraid of here is Chuck Norris. So there's a place, there's a restaurant here where they have like Chuck Norris sayings like all over the walls and stuff, and it just freaking kills me. And there's the one about the snake where, the snake, after 3 days in agony, the snake finally died from eating Chuck Norris. I'm like, oh my
Oh.
God.
Snortopoopus, you're lying. Ireland had snakes until St. Patrick single-handedly got rid of them. How dare you? How dare you, sir? How dare you? And as Sandra says, we don't see it in West Virginia either. We have constitutional carry and usually common sense. Jacob Ironside says, I'm a photographer in Texas and I'm out in fields all the time. I've never seen a rattlesnake. You'll be fine. I hope you have a good trip. Well, dang it. Why am I always the one with the bad luck? Okay.
But did you die, Brown? Did you die? Like,
Oh.
you're still kicking.
Yeah, Lafayette, it's the heat. I'm scared of the heat. Rennie promised me she will follow me around with a red wagon of ice cream. When I get too hot, she'll give me ice cream. LOL. Well, there
I
you
never
go.
said
You
anything
see?
of the sort.
Well, hey, and before you joke, ice cream's everywhere around the Alamo. There's like 10,000 ice cream places and slushies, little slushy trucks. And while you're here, you need to get like a manganata, like some of the Mexican ices. Oh, they're so good. They're so good. Um, uh, I don't want to. You can say if you want to, like, what brings you here? Is it just because you want to come to Texas because it's awesome? Here in Brazil, we have an island with the most snakes per square meter in the whole world, says Simone. Holy shite! Oh
Eee.
yeah. And by the way, if you don't want to dox yourself, if you wouldn't mind telling me which part of Ireland you're from, and the only acceptable answer is Cork, then that's great. Okay.
Oh dear.
Jacob Iron says, I'm going with my friends. Oh, okay, awesome. You will. All right. Well, my gosh. Before Siren goes to sleep, he checks under his bed and closet for Chuck Norris. Chuck Norris, King Dolphin TV says Norris once urinated in a pickup for a joke. It transmuted to Optimum Prime. Sandra says, can't wait to see Rennie on my trip to Texas in March. Oh, well, okay. Everyone's.
Yay.
Gosh darn it. Why are we being stalked?
I can't help that I'm cute and awesome. No, just kidding.
Well, no, but you know what I mean? I'm like,
Yeah.
Okay. Potato Reverend says, I have friends. One has PTSD, can't fly for. So we're going, oh, well, there you go. There you go. Jacob Ironson says, first thing when you get to Texas, get a cowboy hat. Will protect you from the sun. Don't listen to him. No one wears cowboy hats.
You'll look like a jackass. Don't do it.
You'll get mugged because they'll be like,
tourist. Oh, tourist.
Yeah.
Get him.
Well, I'll tell you what people wear here. If you to protect yourself from the sun and all, like, get yourself a baseball cap. Yeah, dudes wear baseball
sunscreen,
caps.
Baseball cap. No cowboy hats.
Yeah, no cowboy hats. Yeah, I mean, you might find some.
Like, there are some people that go to for instance, we have like a really big country music fan base here.
Yeah.
So you'll see them go to concerts in cowboy hats and boots and all that stuff.
Exactly.
But you just don't want to walk around in one on a daily basis because you're going to stick out like a sore thumb.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. But like, yeah, they'll get in their cowboy getup, for special events or when the rodeo.
I was about to say rodeo events. Yeah.
We have some touristy places where people dress up, but it's not the people that go, it's the people that are working there. So
exactly. Or I mean, and you actually will see people maybe wear cowboy hats like out on ranches.
Yeah,
is a thing. But Potato Reverend says, laugh my out, get a cowboy hat, assless chaps, and a shirt with frills on it, and a big leather boot with spurs on it, and walk around saying, yeehaw, and howdy,
Oh, dear.
ma'am.
Okay, well, then count me out.
Well, and if you're thinking, you said San Antonio, you're going to hear more Spanish than anything else. I mean, crying out loud.
Yeah.
And it's not quote unquote immigrants. I mean, there's been Tejanos here before, right after, before our nation was even born, right after Columbus and stuff. We should have a Texas meetup sometime. Oh, did I sigh out loud? Maybe. I'll tell you, I'm waiting for some people to chill down a little bit, I think, before I'll do any in-person
I think
meetups.
once some of the madness is gone from certain aspects of YouTube, I would be
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not worth being doxxed. I'll just come out
Yeah.
and say it. It's just not worth it. Life's too short.
Absolutely. I mean, unless you're one of those channels that people already know what you look like, okay, or know where you are, or know
Or know
all that.
your
Yeah.
real name. Yeah.
Yeah.
You see, that's
That's
the
a little bit
thing.
different,
Yeah.
And so I don't blame you one bit. People are crazy.
Yeah, people are, yeah. Well, and understand, people, we have family, we have that don't want to get caught up, hit by a splash from some other crazy stuff.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Most of the people downtown speak both English and Spanish. Got to make that tourist money. Oh yeah, I mean they're bilingual. Everyone's
Yeah.
bilingual, but But I'm just saying that you'll see more Spanish and Spanglish.
Yes.
But yeah, for real, if you can find yourself a Mexican kind of little ice place and get yourself a manganata, you will not regret it. Mr. Brownline says, "Don't give a F. I'm known." Yeah. Oh my gosh, Potato Rim, instead of sunscreen, I will wear olive oil all over my
That
body.
will actually not help. But
Yeah,
I mean,
you'll
it'll
probably
tan
burn
you,
alive.
and you'll get quite a few UV rays.
Yeah, I was
Just
about
saying.
to say you'll spontaneously combust.
Exactly.
You'll turn into Denethor.
Baked potato. Baked potato.
Baked potato Revan. Unfortunately, knob heads around. Yeah, and that's the thing. That's the thing. It's too bad, but we all know it's the truth. Sorry.
Yeah.
But yeah. So on that happy note, I need to go ahead and stop because I do want to get over to the gym before the stream later today with Mr. Brown Alliance. He did put the link in the chat. It was further up for. We're talking the director's cut of Rocky IV.
I'm so excited you'll be with us today.
So excited. Let's see. What is he saying? Check out Tierra in San Antonio.
Mexican restaurant?
Yeah. I mean, well, there's
a lot.
I was gonna say there's amazing. This way. Once you have real Mexican food or close to Mexican food, you'll never go to Taco Bell ever again.
Well, but the thing that people don't realize about Texas, a lot of Mexican food is here is Tex-Mex. So,
well, that too.
You'll go to other parts of the U.S. and go, that's not like what I had in Texas. So, people from the West Coast have come to visit me here, family and friends, and they're like, this isn't Mexican food. I'm like, you're in freaking Texas. Just get over it.
Yeah, exactly. So. Yeah. All right. Take care of every human. For reals, I know a guy who tried to dox our friend who wants her in real life private info. Yeah, you see that, and that's the thing.
Oh.
And it's not in any way to insult people, good people that I know, and all that. Like, for example, some of you people in here. It's just that there's a lot of folks around the periphery, and that maybe sometimes people. It's just unfortunate. It's just unfortunate that it is the way it is. Love Tex-Mex, yeah, and you're exactly right. You just never know when someone gets a little too enthusiastic and they're batshit crazy.
Well, and especially, I don't mean this mean, and I don't mean to sound sexist, but especially if you're a woman, I feel like as women, we attract more stalkers and crazy people than the men do sometimes. I don't mean that to sound like that, but yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of weird folks. Got to be safe. Yeah, uh, exactly. And sometimes it's not even that they're weird and stalkerish. It's just competition and
Yeah.
mean girls. That sometimes it's just as simple as that.
Yeah.
It's
Absolutely.
and I hate to be so harsh on my own sex.
No, that's just honesty.
Yeah, yeah, got to be safe. But that's a long way of saying maybe one of these days. Maybe one of these days. But today is not that
But it
day.
is, yeah, but it is not this day.
It's not this day. Let us ride forth. Let us ride forth.
Oh dear. That's a good way. That's a good note to go out on.
Yeah, okay. Well, gosh, just as we get like 12 people in the chat, then I'm ditching, but I do have to go. And Rennie's got a movie to watch, and I've got some exercising to do. Have a great day, everyone. Have a great day. I really appreciate you all being here, participating. The chat's great. I love the way that you contribute. And be certain. Well, hell, I don't know. Be certain not to set yourself on fire, I guess. Don't put oil on your body. Just